All right, this is part 5. We are mixing our lives away. We have a song called Horizont. I don't know how to say it, but it's by ReLea. And yeah, we're digging right back in. We're in Logic Pro, mixing drums, vocals, about to get some guitars in, about to get the master bus and subgroups going, all sorts of stuff going on here with this mix. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you should definitely subscribe right now. And I appreciate all y'all that are subscribed, sharing the show, you're liking the videos, you're dropping love comments on the videos that you're getting something out of. Really appreciate that because, you know, I take my time out to do this and I fund this channel. You know, nobody else funds this channel. It comes out of my pocket to do this. So, and I've been posting to this YouTube for over 10 years now. So just if you like something, like it. All right. Now let's dive back in to Logic Pro and see where we're at. So I've done a few things. I think I just kind of was working on some stuff off camera on accident. I was just like, what is going on with the drums, right? So I went into the kick drum, the front, the back, and the sub here, okay? And I really worked on these. The front, first of all, like you'll see, I shaped the shit out of it with some EQ. I took out a lot of the mid-range stuff. And I took out a lot of the top end, and then I boosted up like 2.4 or whatever. And then I gated it. And then I have parallels going to parallel compression, you know, kick P comp, and then the drum room bus. Okay. Just a little bit of each of those. Now, just so you can hear, you know, kind of like what was going on here, I'm going to bypass the EQ and the gate. Okay, so that's a little before and after for you. Now, here is the back kick. And then I'm going to play these all together for you. This, I took out a lot of high end, okay, looks like, and some gate. So just Pro G, gated it, and took out all the top and some more of that 550 area, okay? So bypassing those in and out. This is just a kick back mic. All right, so those two together, with a little bit of love, a little bit of gating and EQ. All right, so that like helped a shit ton. Kind of clears up a lot of space for things, right? And that's what I'm looking for right now in this mix. Now, the bass drum sub, you'll see, I focused only on the sub, and I just literally shelved down at 215, 28 dB, okay? And then convolution transients up, a little bit of sustain down, okay? And this was a big culprit of just taking up a lot of space, taking up a lot of energy, making the bass murky, you know? It was a lot of things. So bypassed in and out just on this kick drum sub. Right, so that was like just going woo. It was just literally, the sub was just rolling throughout the whole thing. And that's just going to take up a bunch of space. It's going to take up voltage, but it's also going to take up a lot of space in the mix. So on the sustain here, you could see, I'm just going to bring this up so you can hear what it's doing. All right, we can literally just call that rumble god, right? Because that's all it's doing is just rumbling throughout the whole record. And so we just took that down, a little sustain down and transients up on that. Now the kick drums all together, so you can hear just EQ and gating, like straight up, just EQ, gate, little transient shaping on the kick drums. I want you to really understand this because this is very basic. I'm going to bypass all of those. Right? Absolutely changes the game on how these drums sound. So that was something I did off camera, just so you guys know. And then that's going to the drum mix bus, which has this guy and the Kive tape. Okay, so just a little tape machine. All right, now let's hear the drums all together, because I think that's an important part of this. And then we're going to still go in and add a little kick sample. We're just going to layer in a kick sample. So here's all the drums. All right, so we got full on drums. Let's put them into the mix here. And you can hear the snare drum's a lot louder than the kick drum, right? So we want to make sure that we build up that kick drum as well, and then we get the snare and the kick to really be the dynamic part of the kit, you know? And when we talk about dynamic part of the kit, I'm talking about it going zoomba, cop, boomba, cop, boomba. You know, not just going woo 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 coo woo woo coo woo woo coo. Like we want the do con do con do do. Like we want the record to breathe, right? And it wasn't doing that. So let's pop it in the mix.
Frische Wind im Gesicht, spüre wie ich wachse. Es alles muss brichten, ich kann wieder lachen. Der Boden ist wieder fest, ich spanne meine Flügel auf. Das Leben ist ein Test, ich atme ein und ich atme aus. Yeah!
So much more space for the body of the vocal, for the acoustic guitars, for the bass guitar. So much more space now, just tightening up that kick drum. And then layering in this snare sample, right? Like we have 2 snare samples, and then the snare drums here. So these are the snare mics on their own. All right, we're just popping those snare samples in there, and you start to get a little bit more dynamic, and you get a little bit more smack out of the snare without bringing out more of the shit that's in the snare mics, okay? So, for example, here is the snare top mic, and I had this Mag EQ that I was like, oh, let's do some air on it, right? But here's the problem with that. Check this out. When I bring this on with the Mag EQ, you just get a shit ton more hi-hat, especially when the hi-hat gets opened towards the end here, where it's just going shh, right? So doing that is just out of order. It doesn't work, right? So instead, we layered the snare with some samples. So same thing we're going to do with the kick. We're going to go to the this kick drum here. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to bring it down, okay? And I don't know why that just moved. Don't move on me. Hold down Shift when you drag, as well as Option. All right, and then we're just going to call this kick replace. All right, and let's just bounce this in place. So it has the Pro Q4 and the Pro G, right? Because this is just so we can get tight on the kick. So we're going to go bounce regions, cells in place, and we'll go boom. That's cool, fine. And now we have a more kind of tightened up kick drum here. And we're going to mute this, turn it off. You can delete it, honestly. We don't need it. And then this is going to be, turn these off. And we're going to gain this up a little bit, just so we have a little bit more gain to play with here, right? So this is what you're seeing here is the kick, right? We got a perfect little kick trigger, basically, is what we got. And then we're going to go to trigger, trigger 2, right? And in trigger 2, we're going to go to our browser here. We're going to go to Bradley Drums. We're going to find a kick drum here. So DP Low Life, I think I picked this one. I thought it sounded pretty good for this record. So I want something kind of punchy, not too snappy, and I don't want too much room in it. You know, I don't want it to go do, 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 do. If you have like that release on a kick drum sample that you're blending in, it's going to start sounding kind of machine gunned, you know, like you're just going to hear it over and over and over again. The ha, 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 and then it starts to sound like a sample. So go to the trigger and let's hear it. All right, that's beautiful. So that's exactly what I want to mix in with these other kicks. So now I have the, this is the front, right? And this is the back, and this is the sub. And then this will be the kick layer. Okay. I'm just gonna make it a little bit more punchy, right, as we blend this in. Give it a little bit more punch. All right, so now this kick layer, let's bounce in place. So it's Control B to bounce in place. I'll call it kick layer. Just call it kick layer 1. All right, now we have this kick, which has been replaced, and we will also go in, mute, turn off, bypass trigger, hide this, and make sure that this is completely aligned. So see how it's not aligned? Looks like it's aligned with the sub and the back, but it didn't align with the, let me see here. Just trying to make sure these are really nice and aligned. Okay, we're talking about phase here. All right, this front kick, it looks like he's the one that's kind of a little funky here. So let's kind of make up the difference here. Let's bring this one back a little bit. And let's bring, just so we don't screw up our timing, because this is the front kick here, and then we have the layer, and then we have the back, and then we have the sub. So we're going to take all of these guys that we know are already aligned, and we're going to pull these over. Okay. Like so. And I'm just aligning the phase. My mouse just lost my mouse there for a second here. Okay, so now we want to look at here. This is usually like the attack of the kick, so you got to be careful like trying to align that, because these have all the high end rolled out, right? So, you know, if you're trying to align this attack, you're going to be off. So what I would look for is this second waveform coming up on the polarity, because this is going to be more of like the body, right? So I'm going to take this and align to that, okay? And that looks pretty damn close. Let's hear it though, because listening is the most important thing here. All right, now we got this going to the room and to the parallel compression as well. And here's the front kick. So these together, this front kick and the kick layer I just put in. All right, so you can hear we're getting kind of like the punch and stuff of this front kick. We are also getting some of that cymbal, you know, the sure. And that's fine, like whatever, like that's going to be part of the kick drum sound, you know? Like you're going to hear that kind of come together and glue in the overheads in the room and all that stuff. So I'm not worried about that sounding like that. All of these start to round out with each other. So this is the back kick. Right, and then we have the sub. So let's pop the sub in here. All right, pretty cool. Now, one last thing I want to do to really make sure that this kick is like really snappy and it's hitting right is I want to give a little room on this first insert. Okay, just gonna pull these down, and we are going to take this through auto align. And the reason being is because we've kind of like messed with these quite a bit. And now we've layered them and we've pulled them in time and stuff. Now I just want to auto align them so that they're, you know, completely locked in as far as sample accurate phase, right? So we're just going to play this and figure out a loop point here. And let's align these kick drums all together. All right, now let's hear after alignment here. Okay, that didn't really seem to make it any better or worse. So, you know, fuck you, auto align. You ain't doing your job. Let's just put it like that. Actually, before we move on here, let's actually try the Sonics drum gate too, and just use the alignment tool here. For some reason, I just feel like this might be better. Okay, so we're just going to make sure alignment only is on all of these. Alignment only. Just trying to make sure that we are sample accurate here. Okay, now we have, it's going to say time anchor kick source, and then phase reference. Let's go kick source 4. It doesn't matter. You know, kick 1 to kick 2. Actually, let's try to align it to the, let's do kick 1 to the sample we added. Okay, so I think that is what, kick layer. Yeah, that's source 2. So we're gonna do the front to the source 2. So kick source 1 to kick source 2. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now we're gonna hit analyze and play this. I honestly can't tell if that's better or worse, so it's just one or the other. I almost feel with the drum gate on, we get a little bit more depth to the kick drums, but that could just be, you know, some sort of you know, shift in the phase, just making it a little bit different. So let's put all these together and listen to the drums. Okay, I do like it in the, like the full kit. It does sound better to me with the alignment on. So let's keep that. And now let's pop these in the mix here. Great, now I feel like the drums are much cleaner, tighter, not taking up as much of the noise floor, right? So it just feels better to me. Now on the snare drum, I have this opto comp here. So I've kind of compressed all the snares together, and this is just kind of touching a little bit here.
Versteck schlägt das Herz aus Gold unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss vom Leben zu berichten. Aber Milch und Honig fließt.
pretty cool. I like this this opto compressor. It does a great job on snare drums. So let's do kind of the same thing with the kick drum. I want to put them all together and before they hit the drum mix bus, because I'm trying to make them not sound like it's a front kick, you know, a back kick, a sub kick, a layered in kick. You know, we don't want that. We want it to be a kick drum. You know, we want the drums to sound like the drums, not like we have all these, you know, separate layers. Like that's not the idea when you're doing a mix. You don't want the listener to go, oh, I can hear the front kick and then the layer in there. And like, that's absolutely, you're failing as a mixer if that's what people are listening and going like, oh yeah, he layered in the kicks, you know, you can hear the punch layer. Like, we're not going for that. Okay. We want the listener to go, this is a dope song. I love the energy, you know, I love how awesome this record sounds. You know, that's what we're trying to do. All right. Suspension of disbelief here. We don't want people to hear this. Okay. So let's go kick subgroup, maybe kick subgroup. Here we go. And then we're going to create a track here. So same thing, I think. We will use that opto comp because I feel like that's a really good one for it. Opto compressor, boom. And I like optos because, especially for like kicks and snares, because they have a fixed attack using it's a light diode, right? So the way it works is it's kind of slower on the attack, which allows the transient to go through. The opto part of it, right, is an actual like light. And then when the light comes on and then it like dies out, right? That's like the attack and release of what an opto compressor is. Now, obviously, they've kind of made opto compressors in plugin forms to be a little different, right? So for example, on this one, you have the ability to go with like an original opto compressor time for, you know, fast and slow, whatever, you know, attack and release, but you can slow it down, right? You can put it on slow time. So normal is going to be a little bit quicker, right? Slow is going to slow it down from an original opto compressor. Like obviously this is modeling an LA2A. Okay, and then you have the compression, which is different than an actual LA2A. An LA2A just has like the input and then the gain adjustment on the output, right? So it's a lot like the FET 1176. It's like you are turning it up and pushing into the compression, right? The only difference is an LA2A is not a feedback, you know, looping input like a FET is with an 1176. So I don't know, maybe it is. You'd have to read the schematics on it. But basically what you're doing here is you're saying, okay, let's take the threshold down or up, right? So let's compress quicker and harder or less, all right? So less or more compression, very easy. And then sidechain emphasis, this is emphasizing this actual sidechain. And then you have like sidechain punch here. These are all just different things that they've added to this opto LA2A style compressor to make it a little bit more interesting. So compressor limit, high frequency makeup. This is a cool knob here. The LA2A does have something like this. And then there is stereo linking or unlinking dual mono. And then you also have external sidechain, which is really nice if you want to, you know, have something coming from the sidechain here that's feeding it, you know, that's triggering this, right? And this might be a filter. I'm not really sure. I'd have to listen. And then this is kind of the coolest part about this one to me, is that you do have wet and dry, so you can do parallel compression, but you have this drive, which is really cool. So it kind of adds a little extra tubey kind of saturation stuff, because the LA2A, the original one, is an actual tube opto compressor. It's not just an opto compressor. A lot of people get that wrong. They don't understand that there is a tube in the actual circuitry for the LA2A. The LA3A, on the other hand, does not have a tube in the circuitry. It's a VCA compressor, so it's a little bit faster. All right, just a couple things to understand. I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but you know, this is going to be for the kick. Let's lock this in here. So we're going to solo this kick subgroup. I don't really use like the meter too much on like gain reduction. I just listen, right? Like I'm like, how does that sound? So we're just going to compress it just a touch to glue it all together. right? Like right away, that gives a glued effect to the kick drums. Okay, so bypass it. They sound kind of separate and they kind of sound like they're on their own. Now, of course, this I feel like is a little too fast. It's attacking too fast. So we might want to slow it down on the time because we do want the transient coming through, but just listen to the difference. Like what I'm trying to achieve with this is one kick drum, right? Not multiple layers of a kick drum. Sub, here's this, here's that, here's this. I want it to be one kick drum now, okay? So just listen for that. Right? Pretty cool how it does that. It also kind of wrangles in the low end a little bit on the sub kick, which I like that because I'm not looking for a shit ton of low end in this kick. And now on the adjustment, what we really want to adjust here is basically the output. And then we might want to give it a little bit of this drive just to see, you know, to hear what it's doing. It does help the kick kind of stand forward as well at attention. And I think that will help meet the snare. So now let's just pop this in, and this is in the mix. And then I'm just going to bypass the opto in and out on the kick and just pay attention to what happens with the kick. Right, so it's really subtle, but it's like the kick kind of falls back and gets kind of lost in the mix. And then when we turn the opto on, the kick kind of comes forward and goes, hey, I'm right here, you know, I'm staying right here. I'm not going to move. I'm the kick drum, you know, I'm the anchor to this track. And I think that's important with most rock records, pop records, that you have an anchor, you know, kick and snare, kick, bass, you know, whatever the anchor is, the thing that doesn't move. It is that solid foundation. And then everything else can be dynamic, you know, it can be, the vocals can be dynamic on top, the guitars, the different instruments coming in and out, etc. The shouts, you know, and things like that can be dynamic. But why have your kick and snare or your kick and bass be so dynamic in a pop rock record, etc.? It kind of, you know, you don't want to lose that foundation. To me, like, that's the groove. That's the thing that's like holding it all together. It's anchoring it. So if we lose that, we kind of lose like the punch. We lose like the record, you know, it starts to falter, starts to fall apart. But it's also cool because when other things fall out, like for example here, it can be really dynamic when you lose that that kick and snare. Right, so that's like a really nice break from, you know, the kick and snare. And because it's such an anchor, that's going to hit a lot harder dynamically, and we can do things with the vocal to like open it up, give it some reverb there, let it breathe a little bit more. You know, just give a moment in the record where you're like, oh, this is cool. It's like a different vibe. Same thing here when the acoustic drops out.
Versteck slaat het Herz aus gut unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt, und eine, die weiss vom Leben zu berichten. Aber meine Kuh habe ich gefliegt, irgendwie vertraut.
Right, that's a really cool moment. The vocals, you realize, like, are really nice. You know, they're in your face, but they have like this space around them. You know, but anyway. So I think we have a good foundation here with our rhythm, finally, and it took a really long time to work that. You know. We're on stream 5, and like I've continually been working on the drums, right? So just so you guys like can really understand how important they are, and I always express that over and over and over again. The foundation of your track, drums and bass, and the rhythm instruments, the rhythm guitars, and then your vocals can come in and they can be, you know, they can be supported. All right, so now let's get these guys going. I think we kind of got these kind of ooh, but I wanna really like dial these in a little bit more.
De bodem is weer vast. We spannen mini vleugel op. Het leven is een test. Ja, opnieuw, ja.
Yeah, so like these ooh, these parts, I think these are really cool, but I kind of want to just have a little air on them so that we can hear the human in them, right? So going back to the mag EQ idea, I do like this idea of bringing up the air on these, and reason being is because I want to hear the breath a little bit, right? And sometimes that can just make it feel more human. It can make it feel like, oh, there's a human singing, you know?
Is een test. Ja, opnieuw, ja. De bodem is weer vast. We spannen mini vleugel op. Het leven is een test. Ja, opnieuw, ja.
Right? It's like when you hear the breath, you hear the human part of what's going on with the vocals. And just to bypass those in and out, you know, here's without and then with them.
De bodem is weer vast. We spannen mini vleugel op. Het leven is een test. Ja, opnieuw, ja. Yeah. De bodem is weer vast. We spannen mini vleugel op. Het leven is een test.
All right, just a little bit of air on the top there, okay? And sometimes on this EQ, I mentioned this earlier, what I will do is I'll take down this 2.5 a touch, right? Just go boop, and so that it doesn't get harsh, you know? And then that way I'm just boosting the air up a little bit more, and I'm taking that 2.5 shelf down, so we're not like, you know, boosting up too much. You know, because if you take this down, you're basically saying like at 2.5 shelf down, and then at all the way down, and then when we get to 40K start to shelf again. So it gives you just the air. Because sometimes when you shelf, actually all the time, when you shelf up 40K, a lot of people are like, well, you can't hear 40K, but it's really about the harmonics of it, right? So it's like 40K, 20K, 10K, it goes all the way down. And so the more you boost this, the more you're kind of like dipping into those harmonics. And I mean, you can hear it. It's super, super apparent when you actually bypass these in and out. So soloed, bypassing them in and out. And I love how you can just jack that up, you know, like we're at what, 7 dB of gain here on this airband, like, and you can just feel it. You're not really like hearing it. All right, cool. Just get a little bit of that breath. And then this part, this part, I think this will be kind of cool as well with the airband. Just make them pop a little bit more here. Yeah, There you go. I feel like these can come up. These, the little background vibes. But let's see here. 14, 14. Okay. Maybe they're just panned a little too wide. Maybe we can bring these in a little bit. 43, 43, and then we'll bring these out a little bit more as well. 45, 45. Somewhere like that, you know. I feel like because these are doubles more so, we can pan them in a little bit more. Let's try that. going to be hard. You really don't want to lose this because she does go down. Right? These notes. So you gotta be really careful in this section. I'm glad that they don't have this guitar going with that. So let's play this guitar actually. I have guitar dry and guitar basic. I'm not really sure what the differences are on these guitars, but we need to start getting these in. And lastly, we'll get this Hammond organ in. So I think it's a Hammond organ. I'm not really sure. I like this. It just needs a little bit of cleanup in this area. I'm not really sure what it is yet, but the need like the mids taken down a little bit. Right, I like that kind of spanky part of this guitar, but I don't want like too much of this like mid-range stuff right on top of the vocal. Also, I'm going to take down the low end. Cool, sounds good to me. Now let's get this guitar, the drive guitar, let's put this on the left a little bit. All right, so this one's like 26. We'll go like somewhere around there as well. All right, and see if we can get these to sit together. Now this might need a little bit of compression on this guitar so we don't lose it. Let's try just bringing the 1176 over from this basic. Bada bang. And the Pro Q4 as well, just so we could do some shaping. But we do have to pay attention. There's like a distortion pedal that gets kicked on, you know, during the chorus. So you don't want to lose stuff, and you don't want to EQ too much until you listen to both parts and really understand them. And if you need to, you can automate, you know. All right, cool. I like that. And then I almost want like this guitar to have a little bit more width to it. And I'm not really sure how I want to do that, but because I do like how dry and crunchy and like it's part of the rhythm, you know, like especially when you know, play it with the acoustic guitars. So maybe a little bit of limiting on it. Sometimes that's a good look. I really like the L1 limiter on electric guitar. I've always liked this. And I'll just kind of pop an out ceiling and it's just a little bit of threshold auto release on it. And this way it just like hits a brick wall on that crunchy guitar. right? And that's pretty cool. Like, I think that tone is really dope. Maybe there's just like a little bit of like a slap delay or something going to the right that's panned. Kind of like how we did this. We panned to the right, but then we sent to this bus 18 to the little plate, and now we're panning that to the left. I'm actually just going to make this a balance here, and we're going to do that. And I might even like pan it further so we can like really get that effect to be over here. Yeah, that's amazing, right? It just makes the mix open up. We're going to make this like very stereo, very big. So guitar drive here, which I think that's what that is, DRV, drive, not dry. Let's send this to bus 21. And let's go 100%. And then let's go back to all instruments. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, bus 9. Yes, bus 9. Okay. On this, let's either do like a flanger, like stereo chorusy kind of thing, or like a slap delay thing. And I think I want to start with a slap, like a slap king, huh? I don't even know what this is. Epica, cool. Yeah, actually that's a good idea. Let's use the Epica, let's use this one. Resonant reverb. Okay, so this is a really fun reverb, I think, for effects. So I'm going to pan this one over like pretty far to the right. And then on this, let's go to like a slap kind of thing. I mean, Joe Ciccarelli presets in here are really, really fucking good. What do we got? Radio, telescope, vocal, bounce back, short, dark, and wide. I'm just looking for like a slap delay. Okay, classic tube vocal plate kind of sounds cool. But let's see what else we got here. Lo-fi boxy snare room. I mean, I can just set this myself, but bass, guitars, here we go. Funky slapback guitar room. This might be a cool look. All right, so now we're sending to this, and then we're going to be returning basically to the right pretty hard. It's pretty cool, man. I love like that it's like a shadow of the guitar, you know what I mean? Like it's like an interesting, almost like headphone bleedy kind of thing that's happening on the right. I just think it's panned a little too hard, so I'm just gonna go whoop and pan this in a little bit more.
Bodem ist wieder fest. Ich spanne meine Flügel auf. Das Leben ist ein Test. Ich atme ein und ich atme aus. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 oh. Lass meine Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir. Traue drauf, es ist gut und ich weiss. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem Ort, anderen Gewinn. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Versteckt schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Aber meine Kuh habe ich gefliegt, irgendwie vertraut, als ob sie das Kübel gießt, unsichtbar so. Yeah, yeah, oh. Yeah, yeah, oh. Lass meine Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir. Vertraue drauf, es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, was ich war. Sachen ändern und gewinnen. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Ich weiss noch nicht, wo mir...
Cool. Just getting some vibes going, right? And then let's bring in the Hammond here, because I think this low one, there's a high one and a low one. So I think this is the high one. And we probably want to make sure that this is spread pretty good. Gets out of the way of the vocals.
Frische Wind im Gesicht, ich spüre...
Yeah, cool. I mean, the best part about this is it's a good arrangement, right? You don't have the Hammond going right on top of the vocal, which is great. Let's see what else it's doing here. It's kind of holding back a little bit. We could bring this up in the mix a little bit just to make it more exciting. Sometimes a little bit of hair on the Hammond is cool. Just a touch of compression just to bring it up a little bit. And then we're going to add some, what is that plugin that I was using? Cause. I think it's by Sound Theory. I think I'm going to do a video on this one too. Sound Theory. Yeah, Crafter. Crafter is fucking cool, man. What a cool plugin. All right, so this will give me, I can get some hair here off this. Let me see. I want to just find where we can get it to just kind of, just a touch. So damn good. Man, Sound Theory just makes dope shit. Like, let's be real. All right, so let's pop this in. Sick. All right, so this Hammond low here, this is actually in mono, which is very interesting. So this is kind of like the pedal tone, I'd imagine. Yes, so this one I kind of want to beef up a little bit. Keep it like maybe right above the bass, you know? So let's grab the bass actually. Let's grab this beach. Yeah, bring that ass down here, boy. Bring that ass. It's getting creepy as fuck over here. What's going on with you guys? You guys good? Staying alive? Staying alive? Staying alive? Yeah. Hey, dude, I appreciate that. I try my best to help you guys out, so cheers. Cheers to that. That's what's up. What do you got? Have you tried the new Dagon from Mercurial 2? No. What's it for? I'm always down for new plugins. Thanks again for doing these. Hell yeah. Absolutely. You are welcome. What up, Big Whiskey Baby? Regina, what's up? What's up? Got the fam in the house. Got the Swiss fam in the house, right? Way better punch with the gate. Yeah, gates are pretty necessary for, you know, recordings. Transit's really pop and you can hear the beater click better. Yes. That's the name of the game. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Like Swiss Deutsch. I don't know how to say that, dude. Schweizerdeutsch. Schweizerdeutsch. I'm just fucking with you. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Mag 4 is dope. It's so good. Like that airband, that's classic, dude. That's never gonna die. That sound, man. Whoo! Let's go. What do you got? The vibe of the guitars gives me like the feeling I had when I listened to the song "Diamonds on the Soles of the Shoes" from Paul. Hell yeah. That's a big compliment to the guitar player. Yeah, the Hammond's sick. Yeah. Mono drum. Yeah, got it. Yeah, it's pretty easy to tell. Yeah, dude. Well, here's the thing about the 103. This 103 is from, I don't know, I want to say like, it's like a 20-year-old 103, somewhere around there. But they, like 20 years ago, they made these so different. You know, I think Neumann just had better microphones back then. You know, they just don't make them like they used to. So try to find a 103 that's like from, 2006, 2005 era. And make sure someone took care of it. Oh, Dagon, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I love Smooth Operator. Smooth Operator Pro, that shit's fucking fire. It works so good for what you need it to do. And Soothe 3 is amazing too. Like, there's so many tools for that kind of stuff now. But yeah, they are all just a little bit different, which is kind of nice. And they do things a little bit better, you know. Yeah, Free's cool. Honestly, I'll pay whatever price as long as the thing like actually gets used, you know? Like people complain about plugins being expensive. It's like you only complain about plugins being expensive when you're not, really doing this for a living, you know? Like when you're doing it for a living, you want the tools to do exactly what you need them to do. And you're okay paying some money. Like it's part of the game, you know? But I get it. Like if I was just first starting out again, man, you guys are in such a good position. Like there's so many free plugins that are just unbelievably 10 times, a million times better than what we had when we first started out. Like just remember this, like when I first started recording music, it was on like 4-track cassette, Tascam recorder, that's all we could really afford. There were no plugins. And then when I finally got a computer, I got like one of the first dual core computers. It was a Sony computer. And I had Cubase VST 5.1 on it. And that was the very first software I ever used to record. And I couldn't even fucking figure it out. Like I couldn't figure out how to record with that shit. And then like the plugins in there like were trash, like it just made everything sound worse. And also there was nobody online like making tutorials about how to use this stuff. You know, we had like, I think this was like right after, like, high speed internet wasn't even a thing in most places, you know? So yeah, it was damn near impossible to get this kind of information. So, I mean, you guys got it so good. If you're in your first 5 years, 10 years of like making music, records, mixing, recording, you guys, oh my God, you could buy Logic for $200 and have like all the stock plugins that are like a million times better than what we had, you know? And then all the free plugins, like, yeah. And then you got people showing you how to use them and techniques and all that stuff. Like, fucking hell. But yeah, I think the low here, I think we can actually filter out a little bit more in this Hammond low. And really what I'm going to try to do is pay attention to how it's working with the bass. You know, this is really, really important because as you can see, it's going like the whole time with the bass. So the only time it's not playing with the bass is right here. But otherwise, you know, it's right there with the bass. So anything in the low end, you got to be careful. You got to always give space to the kick drum and the bass, right? So don't think like, oh, I'm going to sweep out the low end on the bass so the Hammond low can come through. That would be really stupid, right? This is the bass guitar. This is your anchor. This is your platform. This is where you're building things from, you know? So be careful with this. This whole idea, these two have to work together. And this one's going to be the one that loses some low end, not the bass. All right, let's check it out. Let's tap in. Tip it, tap-a-roo. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, right? Like, we just get rid of the top end. You don't need it in the Hammond low, in mono. Like, all that's going to do is get in the way of the vocals, right? So if I have top end in this Hammond low and it's right up the center, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to eat up the space in the middle for the vocals. You know, you got, yeah, you go, and then you have this, like, there's no point in having that right on top of the vocals. So just sweep it out. Nothing special here. This is not like a big part of the record. Big part of the record, I would say, is the Hammond stereo, right? So I don't know why, but did I like totally duplicate this on accident? Looks like it. Yeah. All right. So like, yeah, this is the Hammond, like the widespread high-end Hammond is what you want to hear. All right, so right here, I think it helps, right? You're getting this kind of warm vibe here. So let's put these together. And I'd even like to stereoize this, just thicken it a little bit, this guy. Okay, so it's very mono. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so I mean, that's done and done. Let's skip around here, though, see if there's any place we need to fix it.
Versteck schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bei einer, die sich selber glaubt und einer, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Da wo Milch habe ich gefliegt, irgendwie vertraut, als ob es ein Kübel gibt, unsichtbar versorgt. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, oh. Na, meine Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir. Vertrauen drauf, es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, wo ich war, Sachen an den Augen vorbei. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Ich weiss noch nicht, wo mein Weg durchgeht.
Alright, so this part... Like, we're gonna take this, duplicate this, and find out where we can mess with it.
Ich mache einfach Schritt, stelle nicht an. Für eine Idee von einem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie ein Magellan. Meine Ängste, meine Sorgen. Für eine Idee von einem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie ein Magellan. Meine Ängste, meine Sorgen weit. Ich weiss noch nicht, wo mein Weg durchgeht. Ich mache einfach Schritt für Schritt. Stelle nicht zurück, mein Bedürfnis vorhört. Für eine Idee von einem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie ein Magellan.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't need to be much different. Maybe it just needs a little bit more wetness on the verb. You know, just to kind of give it a little bit more space around it. Nothing crazy.
Ich weiß noch nicht, wo mein Weg durchgeht. Ich mache einfach Schritt für Schritt. Stelle nicht zurück, mein Bedürfnis vorhört. Für eine Idee von einem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie ein Magellan. Meine Ängste, meine Sorgen weit hinter mir. Vertrauen drauf, es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, wo ich war, Sachen an den Augen.
Yeah, cool. Starting to get there, you guys. We're getting there. Last part here, a little guitar solo action. Let's make sure this shit just fucking pops. What do we got going on here? It's like 2 guitars, 3 guitars going.
Wie wir bereit für das, wo noch kommt. Yeah!
Always make room for guitar solos. Don't always just jack them up in volume. I think that that's very important. You know, this also has a lot of noise in it, like you'll hear if I solo this. All right, that's all noise. Like, we can get rid of all that, especially when it's not playing. Obviously, right? So we get kind of chop this out. And we're going to save, you know, voltage. Basically, anytime you can save voltage, you can make room for something that's more important. Like, let's see if... Yeah, guitar solo at least isn't, like, going right here. It's just going right here. Just getting ready. Shh. Right, so let's just get rid of anything ahead of that. We don't need to hear the noise coming on, you know. Boom, boom, boom. Give a little fades action. And then this guy. Yeah, lots of bleed, lots of noise. Get rid of that. This will open up the mix more, the more you kind of fix these kind of problems. Not that they're like problems, but You know, there's like no point in really having that stuff there. Just taking up space, you guys. Don't let it take up space. And then this, what is this doing? More noise. More noise, but in a different frequency. It's like, that's up there. This other one was down. So it's, there's just like a shit ton of noise all throughout, which is nothing wrong with it in certain, you know, parts, but like when you're trying to make something, you know, come to the forefront and it's got a bunch of noise kind of congesting the dynamic range, you're gonna, you know, you're losing voltage. Especially when it comes to like low end stuff. Like that's why I kind of tightened up that kick drum, because the kick drum was going the whole time throughout the track, which is going to just make it sound smaller. You know, your mixes sound smaller because there's so much noise. Okay, cool. So on the in part, we have the guitar solo. So let's get this thing stanking, right? We want to stank this up. Make it stanky. Make it shanky banky boom boo. Boo boo banky. All right, so this in part is where we start to automate, right? So we're going to automate down these snare mics that have a lot of the hi-hats in them, and then we're going to automate up the snare samples so we can, you know, keep the energy and everything of the hi-hats being open, but we're not completely congesting and clogging up this section because there's so much going on. This is where everything's playing, so you can't have everything be important here. So at this part, you have to say, okay, what is the most important? Is it the vocals? Is it the guitar solo? I mean, this is the new thing coming in. So to me, as a producer, as a mixing engineer, I go, we've already heard, hey, we've already heard that. We've heard that multiple times throughout the record. So what's new here at the end? We've heard the organ. The organ's been going, right? So is that important? The organ's not really soloing. It's just, adding energy. So this is literally the only thing that's different is the guitar solo. So guitar solo, and I don't know, like this guitar part as well, this drive part might be a little different, right? Who knows? But we have to figure out what's the thing that's going to take over here. Everything can't be important here. If everything's important, then nothing's important, and then it just sounds like a mess. He's just fucking going. All right, so so after this I'm going to do a little EQ just to make this more of a lead, right? We don't want it to take up like too much of the mid-range. We want it to really sound like a lead. Interesting ending. I don't know about it, but it's like the band just fucking did too many drugs or something. Something happened here where they were like, man, let's just crush this at the end here. All right, so just cleaning up things, trying to figure out this in spot. And even the vocals, like maybe it's cool if the vocals get more like spacey, maybe we throw them into some sort of spatial thing. Where things start to open up more, right? We go more depth in the vocals. So duplicate the lead, bring it down here, right? And then throw on after the spring or instead of the spring, we can do something a little bit more. I want to do like baby audio. My favorite is the spaced out for this kind of like, spatial effects kind of shit. Right, so now we have to find a balance. Like obviously the guitars and everything are really loud, but the biggest culprit are the hi-hats. The biggest culprits to me are the drums. And to always like prove that to myself, I'll constantly like, okay, let's just mute the drum master bus. Right, that's a really good way to check like what is the culprit, what are important elements to this part, and which elements need to come down and not be so featured, right? Again, you can't have everything featured. It's impossible. Like, you're like, oh, I want to have everything playing here. It's like, cool, but you can't feature everything. Everything can't be loud, right? So Hammond is like super loud on this part. So let's just kind of like balance these things. And it's a lot easier to tell when you don't have drums going, right? Because then you can kind of hear what's taking up what. And I do the same thing a lot of the times when I'm checking against other stuff. So for example, if I come in and do like, how about just the drums and the all vocals, right? So vocals and drums only. Yeah. Right, so it's like, well, if it's just vocals and drums, doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of competition because the hi-hats are above the vocals, right, in frequency and everything. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the issue as much as let's now do instruments and drums. Yeah. And right away, you're like, aha, right? All the instruments are in the mid-range. All the instruments are right in the vocal range. So what can we do to make sure that the vocals can still kind of come through a little bit more, right? And they're not getting completely lost in that part. So there's a couple things like I'll pay attention to. Maybe it's the acoustic guitars. Maybe it's the... whatever's in the center usually, right, of the instruments. So as I'm listening, I'm going, well, what's taking up the center image of the instruments here? And I feel like it's a lot of the organ, and then it's a little bit of the, do I have this bass? Okay. Yeah. It's a little bit of the guitar as well, like these guitars, obviously, but we're not going to get rid of those, right? So it's this guitar basic as well. So if we just muted these guitars, let's just hear it, right? Right, so that is your middle, right? That's the middle and it's the mid-range. So when those guitars come in, are they more important than the vocal? That's what you have to figure out. If they are, then the vocals sit back and they become another instrument texture layer in the background. And that's kind of what I decided. The artist can decide whether, you know, they want that or not after I send them the first mix pass. But I have to make these decisions as a mixing engineer. Like, we've already heard that vocal before, right? In the other parts of the song, I think twice already in the chorus. We haven't heard this guitar solo and this big outro sort of thing. So this has to be more important than the vocals, right? So let's just pop this and make this the important thing. And you can see I just barely panned it, 0.5 off to the right. So this also, these guitars, not as important as the solo guitar is what I'm thinking in my head, right? I'm like, okay, it's just got to make a decision, right? So I duck these down a little bit. And then I have the guitar solo coming up a little bit more. You know, I put on an amp, you know, which these are out tomorrow. So please don't tell anyone I showed you guys these amp knobs. I'm doing a video on them because they are absolutely incredible. And this is by a company called Bogren Digital. Fucking ridiculously awesome. Like, they sound so damn good and they're easy to use. And I got really tired of opening up Fender Deluxe plugins, right? Or Fender Twin plugins and having to tweak the shit out of them to get that tone that I'm looking for out of those amps. These, you turn them on and you turn them up and you're like, that's the tone exactly what I'm looking for out of this amp. And then it has some other cool features. But I did a full video on these. So I am going to make this guitar solo the important thing at the end here, which means even the guitars need some room outside of the, like with the drums. So what I'm going to do now is play all drums, all instruments. And that's another thing you got to pay attention to. Not that we're like going red or anything here and clipping, but when it's starting to go orange on a bus, that means you're kind of overloading it a little bit, right? So you might want to balance the instrument because everything's hitting now, right? You got the guitar, acoustic, vocals, everything's gonna, not vocals, but because we're on an all instrument bus, but like everything's hitting all at once right here. So this is where you can start to, automate, like I've already kind of been doing. You can come in and maybe these acoustics can come down a little bit, things like that. So we have to start to automate. And now the organ feels really loud right here as well. Like I'm like, why is it so loud? It's getting there. So I'm going to do something here. When everything comes in, you have the instrument mix bus, and I'm going to do the Gullfoss here. And I use this a lot when I'm mixing. Like I just love Gullfoss for this specific thing. And this is just to clean things up in the mid-range. So I'm going to go here up to like 80 or so, somewhere around there. And then we're going to go up here. We're going to filter out down to like 10K or so. I don't know. Just the starting point right now. And then we're going to tame this a little bit. A little bit, I mean like 20 to 30%. And then we're going to recover just a touch. But mainly tame. And this is going to help separate the instruments just a little bit more. Like that right there is super fucking cool, man. Like, check this out. I'm going to bypass that in and out real quick. Okay, that's the problem. So I don't have the guitars going to the instrument mix bus, which is, we need to do that. Because if I solo this out and it's just the Hammond, that ain't doing it for me. I want them guitars there, man. All right, so bus 8 guitar mix bus. Okay, and then this is going to all instruments. So we need to take the guitar mix bus to instrument mix bus. Or we can even do this Gullfoss on the guitars. I was thinking of separating the guitars more, and for some reason I'm only getting the Hammond organ on there. So I'm going to take this out to the instrument mix bus as well. So this is right now going to all instruments, but we're going to go one more stop along the way, my friends. Instrument mix bus. Guitar mix bus goes to instrument mix bus. Now we're going to be dealing with all of those with the Gullfoss. Right, so just a little bit wider is how it feels to me. Like things get a little bit more separated. Now going back to the instrument mix bus here. Where are you? Where'd you go? Maybe it's back here. Here we go. Bam. All right, so going back to here, I'm going to just solo this. You can see we got some gain staging to do and some more automation. All right, just kind of smooths it all out, kind of separates things a little bit more. I'm overdoing the shit out of it. I was just wanting to figure out exactly what it's doing here. Beautiful. It's just doing exactly what you want it to do. Now, guitar bus, right? Guitar bus here is just getting hit. It's just getting clobbered right now. So we got to make sure that we get that gain staging right. All right, now let's hit this guitar mix bus before the Soothe 3. We're going to hit this with a little bit of limiting as well. So just go L1 on this so we don't get any overs. Okay, that's all we're doing here. Just a little protection. You know, wear protection, y'all. Don't have babies unless you got that together. All right, now I want to take this Soothe because I think originally we were looking for it to be on the acoustics only, right? So these were going to bus 8, and then this was the guitar mix bus, but really this should be like acoustic guitar bus, right? And then everything should end up at the guitar mix bus as far as like the leads and everything else. Okay, so that's our guitar mix bus. I don't want this Soothe 3 across all of the guitars, because then all of a sudden the intonation and things like that are getting chopped down in that 4K area, which I'm not looking for. I really don't want that. I just wanted that on the acoustics. So going back here, let's bus these acoustics only to bus 22, right? And then these can end up again at the guitar mix bus here. So we can go back to bus 8, right? But on the acoustic guitar mix bus here on 22, this is where we want to put that Soothe. So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to go here. We're going to go acoustic guitars. And then we're going to color that red. And we are going to then make a track here. Create track. And then here, where are we at? Acoustics. Yeah, sure. We'll do it right under it. And then the guitar mix bus. I don't know why that's not out here. Should be, right? This guy. Nope. I don't have one, huh? Okay, so this is the guitar mix bus. We're going to pop that out there. I wish like there was a default setting for this so that you can have all of your auxes and everything show up in the mix window, in the arrangement window. It's just kind of frustrating that you can't do that. All right, so now on the acoustic guitars, moving over the Soothe 3. That's all we need to do. The L1 limiter is going to end up where all the guitars are ending up, okay? So that's going to be the acoustics, the electrics, everything is on the guitar mix bus. But the acoustic guitars are going to get this Soothe 3 treatment, okay? That's it. Just the acoustics. All right. Hopefully that all makes sense, because that was fucking me up. All right, it's a little much in that that high mid range there. Just trying to get this solo to sit right. Yeah, it might speak a little bit better from the 4 to 6 area rather than the 2.5.
bereit für das, was noch kommt. Versteckt schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Da wo Milch und Honig fließt, irgendwie vertraut, als ob es ein Kübel fießt, unsichtbar so. Yeah, yeah, oh, atme ein und ich atme aus. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oh. Lass meine Ängste und meine Sorgen bleiben hinten. Vertraue drauf, es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück, dann muss ich meine Sachen ändern können. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Versteckt schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück. Einfach Schritt für Schritt. Stelle nicht zurück, mein Bedürfnis vor. Wenn dann erreiche ich neue Rufer wie den Magen lang. Meine Ängste, meine Sorgen. Es ist gut und ich weiss, was ich will.
All right, cool. So a lot of this is like me kind of hearing things like overall, you know, when I'm using this plugin. I'm listening in the mids, like in the middle section, so the mono section here. I widened it out a little bit. I swept out a little bit of the low stuff from 91 below, but at a very, very slight curve at 6 dB per octave out of the sides, right? So a little bit more clarity in the sides, right? I do want to mess around with Mono Maker as well. Probably take this up to about 60 to 80 hertz, right? Just to see what that does with the kick drum and bass drum and bass guitar.
Ich kann wieder lachen, der Boden ist wieder fest. Ich spanne meine Flügel auf, das Leben ist ein Test. Ich atme ein und ich atme aus. Yeah, 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 oh, yeah.
All right, so we're making up some gain, doing some gain staging, shaping. Low mids, I probably want to work on in the sides.
und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Versteck schlägt das Herz aus Gold, unten all den.
All right, cool. It's starting to sound a lot more dynamic as well as we gain stage things on the master bus. Now I'm going to look into like the harsh kind of stuff in the sides at the end here. I love a little mid-range in the sides, like that 900 to 1400 kind of area. All right, so I feel good about that. That's a cool setting here. Now Goldfoss obviously doing some more shaping. I think this record doesn't need to be super bright, so we have to be careful with that. Taming is good. Recover, might want to recover a little more. I love how that kick drum now is like it's punching through at the end here, which feels good to me. And then God Particle, let's set this right. Still need to fix things at the mix source, like the hi-hats and this end part, automating that stuff, but I really want to get an overall sonic texture here. BX Townhouse, I don't think is actually cutting it for this record. I'm going to go to a Manly variable mu because I just know exactly what it sounds like and what I'm looking for out of it. Just using it for so many years. Defaulting, we're going to go to artist and we're going to get the fill tan kind of starting point here. I don't know why I haven't saved my settings as a preset yet, but basically I'll go here and I'll go all the way up, and this output will keep it normal, attack pretty damn slow, like super slow. And then what else? Yeah, we'll leave the high pass filter on here. Limit, compress. Yes, we want compress on. This is all good. Now I want to mess around with maybe taking this a little bit slower. We're going to push the input. We're going to get a little tickle on the, we're going to tickle it. Sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss vom Leben zu berichten. Da wo Milch und Honig fliegt, irgendwie bedroht, als ob sie das Kübel fixst und sich macht so. Yeah. All right, this is really starting to get there. Now, a little gold clip or Soothe 2 on this as well. I'm going to probably just do Soothe here. I'm going to use Soothe 2 just because I'm a little bit more familiar with it than I am with Soothe 3 so far. Mastering in Advanced, Low Mid Cleanup 1 and 2. These are what I like to use on the master bus.
Selber glaubt und eine, die weiss vom Leben zu berichten. Da wo Milch habe ich gefliegt, irgendwie vertraut, als ob es ein Kübel ist, unsichtbar so. Yeah, yeah, oh. Yeah, yeah, oh. Lass mich Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir vertrauen drauf. Es ist gut, ich weiß, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, wo ich war. Sachen gehen vorbei. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Ich weiss noch nicht, wo mein Weg durchgeht. Ich mache einfach Schritt für Schritt. Stelle nicht zurück, mein Bedürfnis von heute. Für eine Idee von meinem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie den Magellan. Meine Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir vertrauen drauf. Es ist gut und ich weiß, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, wo ich war. Sachen gehen vorbei. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt.
All right, so last thing we have to do really is get that end part, that solo, really figured out here, because it is getting a little loud, right? Like it's getting a little too much. It's just hitting the master bus weird, and you know, this is going to be a matter of like really tweaking and automating and making sure that like, you know, the noise floor on everything pushing all at once doesn't, you know, hit super crazy. But right now we're in a really, really good spot. I think we're just like a few, you know, maybe an hour or so away from wrapping this up. And I'll do that on one last stream for you guys so we can really get this wrapped. But yeah, let's kind of bounce before and after sort of thing. Or even just like from the reference mix to what we got, you know what I'm saying? Like just to get an idea of where we're at and where we've come, you know? So here's the reference mix.
dem, was war, Sachen ändern gehen. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Versteck schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Versteck schlägt das Herz aus Gut, unter all diesen vielen Schichten. Bin eine, die sich selber glaubt und eine, die weiss, vom Leben zu berichten. Aber Milch und Honig fließt irgendwie vertraut, als ob es ein Kübel gibt, unsichtbar so. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, oh. Na, meine Ängste und meine Sorgen weit hinter mir vertrauen. Ist gut, und ich weiss, was ich will. Es gibt kein Zurück zu dem, was ich war. Sachen ändern gehen vorbei. Und ich bin bereit für das, was noch kommt. Ich weiss noch nicht, wo mein Weg durchgeht. Ich mache einfach Schritt für Schritt. Stelle nicht zurück, mein Bedürfnis von heute. Für eine Idee von einem Zukunftsplan erreiche ich neue Rufer wie den Magellan. Meine Ängste, meine Sorgen.
Yeah, so as you can hear, it's I think probably what we'll end up doing with the mix I'm ending up with. Much more full, much more three-dimensional, lots more depth to it, but it is getting smashed a little too hard. And I think that has everything to do with the balance of the instruments. So like her reference mix has her vocals really on top of everything, right? So all the instruments and everything are really turned down quite a bit. And that's fine. I think that's probably what I'll end up doing, is like rebalancing it so the vocals are much more upfront, but not by much, because I do feel like theirs definitely feels like a demo, you know, like it doesn't feel like a record. It feels like we couldn't figure out how to get all these things to work together. So we just have the vocal really loud and everything else turned really far down. You know, especially the drums. Like the drums have no impact. The bass has no impact. There's no fullness to it. There's no like push out of the speakers kind of vibe. It's all just kind of very mono right in front of you in a mono speaker, you know? So definitely a different vibe, but I'm definitely overdoing mine right now. So it'll take an ear break. It'll take, you know, some finessing and some automating and balancing some things on different parts. But for the most part, I think we're crushing the demo. You know, like I feel very confident that, you know, where I'm at sounds much better than what they sent.
We spannen meine Flügel auf, das Leben ist ein Test. Ich atme nie und ich atme aus. Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's just a matter of balancing things a little bit differently so that the vocals do have more space. But yeah, it's very close, and obviously we're getting a little bit more gain, but not in a way that it's like sounds like way louder. You know, like to me, when I A/B this, I'm not going like, oh, mine's way louder and that's why it's better. It's actually just more full and more rich and more harmonically full and rich. This has like a lot of very pinned frequencies, like, hey, hey, like you hear that vocal like really pinned out in these specific frequencies, and everything is very on its own. You know, like here's electric guitars, like this little tiny mono kind of electric guitar. Things like that, where I want those things to be smeared into the actual stage and the record. You know, like those are things I pay attention to. Like listen to the crunchy kind of distorted guitar that comes in here on the demo reference, and then listen to what we have in our mix. Right, our guitar is like melding into the mix. It's not sticking out too much. But, you know, you could make that electric guitar a little bit more defined, you know, speak a little bit better. Like, for example, it's this one here coming in. You'll hear this kind of drive thing. I ducked it down a little bit, but check it out. Right, that's how I'd get it to, just cut through a little bit better. But I do like how it's like melding in and it's giving space and texture, and like you have that thing on the right going on. It doesn't feel like this like little guitar thing that comes in. So things like that with a record, to me, making it glue and sit in the mix better. That's kind of what I'm doing. It just feels like more spacious, more like bigger, But anyway, that's really what I got for you. Yeah, is absolutely like -4 is crazy. Like I don't need to be hitting -4. That's not what I'm trying to do. I actually just was like mixing into the master bus and didn't even realize that I was at -4 on the short term. But that means that I got a lot of stuff that I can play with. I have a lot of room to make this much more dynamic, make things pop in and out, automate more, things like that. And that'll be just like one last stream. But yeah, what else? That's it. That's really it, what I got for you guys right now. Yeah, dude, mixing in Logic's always interesting. I've been doing it for a long time, so it's all good. No, it's definitely not English. I don't know what English you speak, but I don't speak that kind of English. Yeah, see, that's the key right there. 100% what I'm trying to do, right? So demo vocals are like, they have to be on their own so much. So all of the instruments have to be really small. Like in the demo and in any demo, it's like, how do I get all these instruments to work together? Oh, just make them smaller. That's usually what people will do, right? That guitar that comes in on their demo, the it's like so tiny. It's right there, it's coming out a little tiny amp on the left. It's like, ding, 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 and what we want is, we want like, that to happen with the record. So just a matter of tweaking, Yeah, Swiss German, Swiss Deutsch. Did you see the Lacuna plugin? Could be good. No, I haven't seen it. I'll check it out. Definitely check it out. Yeah, I mean, I think to each their own. I like new plugins. Sometimes they inspire me to do something a little different. I don't think it depends on where you're at with your mixing. If you're buying a bunch of like mixing and mastering plugins and you're not putting out music, then yeah, you're fucking up. Like, don't do that, right? You need to be putting out music first, right? That's like key. So once you have enough plugins, like you got stock plugins, you got a few mastering plugins, you got a good EQ or two, some good compressors, third-party compressors, spatialized stuff like H3000, delays, reverbs, Valhallas, once you have all the basics, like, yeah, you should just be fucking making songs and putting shit out. Like, for real. Yeah, I don't agree with that. The AB metric by Plugin Alliance is not incredible at all. I've actually talked to a few mastering engineers about that. So if you want to AB match something, first of all, it's damn near impossible because perceived loudness. I mean, come on, dynamic range, totally different. So if I match the volume, which isn't even a thing in audio engineering, when you say volume, that's also completely debatable, right? Because we all hear things differently depending on how loud we're listening to things. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Fletcher Munson curve, perfect example. So if you want to compare loudness of something, it's impossible. Okay, I just want to make that really clear. Like, if I compared, for example, I use AB metric by Plugin Alliance. First of all, AB metric changes the sound of things. So do it. Just like listen to it, play it back in your DAW, play it back in your Finder, play it back with AB metric. You will hear that it is different. It is doing something to the sound. Second of all, perceived loudness, harmonics, dynamics, limiting, clipping, all these things, they all change the way we hear things. Third of all, you're listening at a different volume than I am, right? So you have to set a standard volume. Fletcher-Munson curve is going to be your best bet. Like find that spot where you're just loud enough, which means you're going to have an SPL meter in your studio that you're listening to, but you're going to want to be at that threshold. So that threshold for the frequencies seeming to be the most even is going to be at an intensity dB level of around 100, right? So around 100 dB SPL. So if you look at this curve, what this is telling you, this is why all this bullshit about people, gain match, none of that fucking matters. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. You watched way too many fucking YouTubers and people telling you to gain match all the time. Keep preaching that, but you guys sound like idiots. You don't know much about audio if you really think that that's, louder is better and all this shit, right? That's not true. I can tell you a million things that are louder that never sound better. So 140 dB, you see the curve here? So as we're down at 30 dB SPL, as you see this, you're going to hear the frequencies differently. Okay. You're going to hear a lot less of 20 hertz compared to a lot more of 4K. See that? So if I'm down here at 30 dB SPL, right? That is sound pressure level. If you have a dB SPL meter, you can do it on C weighted. You could put it in your listening position. If you're at 30 and you're listening really low, then you're going to hear right here. If you go across to the 20 hertz, you're going to hear that much less of 20 hertz. If you go across this, you're going to hear 10, 20, 30, 40. You're going to perceive 100 hertz as 40 or 50 dB louder. And then when you go across, you're going to perceive 400 as 50 dB, 60 dB louder. And then you're going to perceive 4K as 70 dB louder. Do you understand this? Okay. That's at a low volume. The higher the volume, the more even the frequencies become. Okay. So if you bring it up to, because your ear compresses, you have internal compression in your ear. So all your shit, all your arguments, you guys, you talk about AB, compare, you got to gain match. You guys are masturbating yourselves. You have no idea what you're talking about. Check this out. 130 dB SPL, you will hear 20 hertz about 10 dB down compared to 30 hertz. And then you'll hear as we go over here, you're going to hear the loudest is going to be around 4K. 4K is going to be up by 20 to 30 dB. Okay. Just how we're going to perceive the loudness. Okay. So imagine if I gain match something that does not have harmonics, does not have perceived loudness, does not have the harmonics of 200, of 100, 4K, 6K, 8K, right? It's not evening out the harmonics. You see these dips and stuff. What if those are filled in with harmonics? You're going to perceive things louder. You're going to perceive things differently for your ear. So no matter what you do to sit around and gain match, you're never going to be truly gain matched. It's not how audio works, because humans have the way we hear. Physiology is what changes us. It's not how loud something is, okay? So I just want to make that really, really fucking clear. It's not total bullshit. I'm not saying these YouTubers, these people that are yeah, you got to gain match or you're just going to think everything's better. I'm not saying that they're bullshit. I'm just saying there's more to it, There's much more to it than just, if you play it back and forth, yours is louder, so it's better. That's not true at all. If you can't tell the difference between something, even when it's louder, you can't hear spatial placement. You can't hear harmonics. You can't hear depth in it. You can't hear the differences in the track. Then you need to practice listening. You need to understand why you can't hear that. And this is where you start with Fletcher-Munson curve. Just fucking, dude, if you're listening in your studio or on your headphones or on your phone at a certain volume, it's going to be different than if someone else is listening to it somewhere else on a different volume, no matter what is gain matched or not. That's all the point I'm trying to make. There is no standard, right? Harmonics, perceived loudness is so different than actual loudness. So I can A/B all day long, gain match all day long. You could tell me, oh, it's better because it's louder. You're full of shit. Absolutely full of shit. This is just science. This is basic human physiology. This is the way we hear. We have our ears compress stuff. You ever been to a show and you're like, it's so fucking loud, like a real rock concert, you know? I don't even think they have those anymore, because every time I go to a show now, it's like it's so quiet, and like the electric guitar comes in and it's just because they want to make everybody pleased, so they scoop everything out of the mids. But yeah, at a show, your ear will compress all the audio together, right? And then yeah, your ears are ringing afterwards, but it's like it's so loud, all the SPL's hitting your ear so hard that your ear has built-in like limiting, you know? It compresses it all. So it's not like you'll hear something louder than another. It's like it compresses it all and you go, oh yeah, that sounded sick. And you feel the bass in your chest and all that shit. But yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, just don't fall for the whole like, oh, louder is better. Oh, you just had yours louder, so it's better, and you're trying to trick me. That's fucking bullshit. Like, straight up. And the reason that became like a thing is because certain plugin companies were at a time, I think UAD did this for a while, where if you turned on the plugin, it added gain right away without tweaking anything. But what people don't really understand about that and why that happened is because UAD, Universal Audio, was one of the first ever software companies to go in and truly model an analog unit. And those analog units, the 1176 Blue Stripe compressor, if you go and you model that specifically exactly how it works, if you run a signal through it and you turn it on, it adds gain no matter what. That's how the default was for that compressor. So people started blaming these companies, right? When you turn the plugin on, it's louder, so people think it's better. And it's like, I can understand why you think that, but they're not trying to trick you. No one was ever trying to trick you. It was just how they were modeling specifically exactly how those analog counterparts worked. And that's how they worked. So sorry, but then it became a thing where people started talking shit, and it's like, no, they add a dB and a half, when you turn it on, so you think it's better. It's like, well, then fucking turn it down and and ask yourself, is it better or worse? And then what volume are you monitoring at? Because we don't know. Nobody knows, right? So I just think that argument is just full of flaws. There's so many flaws to that argument. Louder is better, louder is better, louder is better. It's not true at all. It's just not true. And we're all listening at different dB SPL, right? So the noise, the sound pressure level of your room, the noise floor in your room, your headphones, how loud do you have them fucking on? Like, you're going to hear things differently. You're going to perceive things differently. So hopefully that makes sense. Mixwave, someone was like, oh, their new plugin, I think it was this one. I'll show you. They were like, someone talked some shit about this Mixwave plugin, and they thought they were so smart and they were so fucking witty, and they were really helping people. You have to understand, when people make this kind of content where they go, don't fall for the scam, because Mixwave, this plugin adds a dB, 1.2 dB of gain, and that's why you think it's better, right? Those people make that content because it is headline, right? It's headline salacious shit. See, they're ripping you off. They're scamming you. If you talk to the guys from Mixwave, which I know these guys that make these plugins, they will tell you that they modeled this exactly from the MM310, the Quad 8 channel strip. And when you turn that on, guess what it does, guys? It adds 1.1 dB of gain as the thing goes through the circuitry. That's how the fucking analog thing works. Specifically, they modeled it specifically to exactly how it works. So yeah, like, you blame other people all you want, think people are trying to scam you, whatever. But if you can't just use your own ears and you can't decide for yourself, then you need to study, practice. You need to fucking get better at this. You need to stop blaming other people for your lack of skills, or your lack of know-how, or you not understanding something. Like, nobody's trying to fucking scam you, dude. You know? Like, oh, the plugin sounds better. Does it? Oh, I don't know. They're scamming me because it's louder. Okay, so turn it fucking down. Does it sound better? No, don't buy the fucking plugin. Demo it. It's so stupid. Like, just like, people love that shit because it's got this salacious idea around it. People are scamming me. Scammers. It's like, fuck off. Make up your own mind. All right, I'm out of here. I digress. It's been 2 hours and 13 minutes on this stream. If you guys got anything out of this, please, for fuck's sake, show some love. Hit the thumbs up. It's really easy. I got 20 thumbs up on this whole stream for 2 hours, over 2 hours of a stream, and 20 of y'all hit the thumbs up. That's crazy to me. You didn't even say thank you. Like, that's so wild. It makes me not want to do these. But if you did come through and you are showing love and you're part of the channel, you know, you're seeing these replays and you're like, dude, this is fucking awesome. I'm here to support the channel. Fuck yeah, that's what's up. For all you that just like want free shit all the time, like, fuck off. Go somewhere else. Go to another channel where they're doing some scam stuff, you know, where you can go, oh my God, they're trying to scam me. I'm just out here trying to help you guys out. So if you got anything out of it, show love. I'll see you guys on the next one.